So other 49 fans, not even the 49er fans, but specifically content providers, people who actually do shows on YouTube about the 49ers are attacking Jimmy G and acting like Jimmy G is horrible and he's holding the 49ers back. And all they do is whine and complain about him. And that's why we've got to fight this stereotype of the 40 whiners, because people who represent the fan base like this in this way are creating an image of spoiled fans who are living in a time over 25 years ago when the Niners used to win Super Bowls, instead of a fan base that's excited because they haven't won in a long time, about a coaching staff and a regime that has already been to a Super Bowl, 2 NFC championship games, and are now using a backup quarterback. That's right, Jimmy G is a backup quarterback because the 49ers' intention was to get rid of him. Trey Lance was the starter. But Trey Lance got hurt. And the Niners, because they didn't want to, very intelligently, they didn't want to give Jimmy G away, possibly to a rival we know in the division, right? And also Trey Lance wasn't proven. And the Niners are in win now mode. So they were smart enough to secure Jimmy G. Sure enough, in a design running play, Trey Lance gets hurt and he's out for the year. Jimmy G comes in, and there's no season without Jimmy G. Now, some fans, some people don't understand. There aren't many quarterbacks in the NFL that are elite. It's the hardest position, maybe in any sport in the world. It's so hard that only 3 or 4 people do it at what you might call an elite level. Many fall into a very average category, and even though they look good to others who don't have a good quarterback, to the fan base, usually, and in this case, all you hear about are complaints. Jimmy G did that. Why did he throw that pass? We only won 13-0 to the Saints. Wow. Oh, Jimmy G is so bad. Let's talk about the season that Jimmy G is having, because it's one of his best. Jimmy G has 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's a pretty good rate. His completion rate is 67%. That's a pretty good rate. Jimmy G has a quarterback rating, a floored system, don't get me wrong, but still, of 103. He has a quarterback rating for every game he's played, an cumulative rating of 103. That is not a quarterback you whine about. That is a quarterback you celebrate having, especially because he's the number 2 quarterback. He's the backup, according to the Niners. Now, in reality, Jimmy G was the better quarterback when the season started and they were both healthy. Not a knock on Trey Lance. He's played 3 football games in the last 3 years. He's never played against any kind of competition that can compare to the NFL, and that's okay, because he could be developed, and he's a phenomenal athlete. This is not about Trey Lance, and it's not a knock on Trey Lance. What it is a cry for Niner fans to get together and appreciate Jimmy G and stop jumping on the poor guy every time he doesn't have a lights-out statistical day. But understand that Jimmy G is winning football games, and he's doing it with efficiency, which is how this offense is designed, to be efficient. It's a run-first system. Don't forget that, because that's what it is. It's such a good running system that you've been able to just give away really good running backs because you have so many more waiting in the wings. And then you have one of the best running backs, when healthy, in the game of football. So let's take it easy on Jimmy G and just appreciate the fact that the Niners are winning, and stop the Jimmy G bashing. Especially you YouTube content providers who are supposed to be leading and providing good analysis to 49er fans, instead of being 40 whiner fans in front of a camera, which makes no sense to me. Be better. Go 49ers. We got this.